cheating?
Yeah.
Oh well. Oh well.
Windows up.
Introductions are in order. This is my good friend Allie from college. And the man that drove past us is her boyfriend Adrian, pictured here. And pictured here. And we all met as classmates at Chaminade University of Honolulu, which is a beautiful private Catholic university on the mountain range in between Palolo and Manoa Valley, around the Kaimuki area on Waialae, nestled beautifully behind Diamond Head Crater. And here are some photos of us and our other friends when we were bright-eyed freshmen at Chaminade. And I have been lucky enough to have a lot of really awesome friends throughout life. It's a true blessing. But I say this with full sincerity. If it hadn't been for Allie and her family, I would not have been able to get through college and finish and graduate. So shout out to Allie and her family for just being awesome. And then shout out to Adrian for hooking me up with my job that I had throughout college, because Adrian worked at this surf shop down in Waikiki called Big Wave Dave's. This was the shop. They've now moved locations, so it's not there anymore. And this was our boss, Dave, and Uncle Troy. Shout out Troy for being awesome as well. But overall, it was a great job to have through college. I worked as a surf photographer, taking pictures and videos of people on their surf lessons, and I worked the cash register with Adrian inside. And yeah, shout out to the whole Big Wave Dave Ohana, Troy, Dave, Crystal, Avery, Alika, Leia, Pono, Josh, and everybody else, even if I forgot to mention your name. Now let's get back to our drive as we go from the windward side of Oʻahu into town to visit our old friends from college. Now, anyone that loves Oʻahu knows that this highway right here is one of the most scenic and beautiful drives that you can do on the entire island, in my humble opinion. And right here we've made it to Waialae, getting closer and closer to our alma mater's location. And here on our left we have Times, which was my go-to spot to get new slippers when the slippers on my feet would disintegrate.
Aloha and a komomai to Chaminade University of Honolulu, where we put an emphasis on developing the whole student mind, body, and spirit, preparing them for leadership roles in a rapidly changing world.
Now, none of us had been back to our campus since we graduated, so it had been a long time coming, and we decided it'd be fun to just stop by campus, check it out again, see what's changed since we graduated, and take a couple group pictures.
What do you think?
I think that this is super rad to be back here with you. And
Have you been back since we graduated?
No. I've lived on this island for 4.5 years.
I'm not surprised.
After graduating,
Yeah.
and have never come back here.
Does that surprise me? No.
Yeah.
No.
Right here, I'm going to take you through the main entrance here at Ching Hall. This was the first building I came into when I visited Chaminade back in 2014 during my senior year of high school.
Smells just the same. It's Saturday though, so there's nobody here. I had drama class in there. There's some sort of event going on. I'm not sure what it is, but it's over here at the Sullivan Library. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on. But this was my route back in the day, going from class up to my dorm. We got these stairs, and at the time, it seemed like such a jog going up these stairs. It was insane. And now it doesn't seem so bad. We did it. Beautiful view. Good old Chaminade. Halepohaku, old dormitory. Halelokelani over in the distance. Ah, dude, maybe we should go over to the Sullivan Library. Diamond Head, baby. Sullivan Library. Ah. We got a fair going on down there. So this is where I came to study all the time, because I definitely came to the library all the time to study. Father Chaminade down there. Oh yeah.
Now, before we continue with our boots on the ground tour of the Chaminade campus, we're gonna take to the skies for an aerial point of view really quickly. Now, here's the view from the top of the campus. From there, we're gonna cut over to Henry Hall, where you're gonna have most of your classes. From there, we look at behind Henry Hall at the Sullivan Family Library, going over to Iban Hall, where the communication majors have most of their classes, along with the interior design, ceramics students, pottery. This is the Sullivan Family Library, boasting its solar panels on the roof. And from there, we're gonna go to the northernmost point of the campus, where the forensics department have their classes. Forensic science, forensic psychology, stuff like that. Here's the chapel from above. A very beautiful view from inside the chapel as well. Beautiful panoramic view of Diamond Head Crater. Here we have Kiefer Hall that also has the gymnasium. Here's my sophomore year dormitory, Halepohaku, as seen from above. Now we're gonna cut over to my freshman dorm, Halelokelani, which is a pretty awesome freshman dorm if I do say so myself. Maybe slightly haunted. But yeah, that is the Chaminade University of Honolulu campus tour from above.
Adrienne. Ali. Hasn't really changed much. Pretty much the same. Kind of nicer over there with those umbrellas though, instead of those dilapidated picnic tables. Ugh. Ooh. Ooh. Ugh. Wow. What are you guys doing? Loitering? Jeez. Dude.
This right here is my boy Tom. Tom was my freshman through senior year roommate. Like I said earlier, I've been blessed in life to have a lot of great friends. Tom is another great friend, and without Tom, I probably would not have been able to graduate college. Tom was my partner in crime. We did everything together. If you knew us back in the day, you didn't see one without the other. And Tom and I figured it was in our best financial interest to split a room down the middle and share the rent. So we split rent down the middle. So I was lucky to have a great experience in college and have a lot of great friends. So shout out Tom, love you.
The cat's a Chaminade. Yeah, I don't see any kitties.
Now we hung out and caught up for a while longer before Tom had to go off to work, but before we left campus, we went and looked at our freshman and sophomore dorms, and we took some photos near the entrance of campus in front of Father Chaminade. Oh, and I forgot to mention that at this point in my journey, my childhood best friend that I was visiting on Big Island that I came over to Oʻahu with had hopped on a plane heading down to Indonesia at this point. So while I was catching up with my friends from college, my childhood friend was heading south. And this playground to our right with the blue and red awnings, that used to be our intramurals basketball court. They got rid of our basketball court, so shout out to all my 2014 freshmen at Chaminade who I used to hoop with. Our court is gone. Now, the Chaminade campus can be a little strange because we share it with a high school private boys academy called St. Louis Academy, so that building that we just passed was actually part of the west side of campus, which belongs to the private high school. Now, as a proud Silver Sword alum, I gotta say that Chaminade has the best college campus on Oʻahu. Hawaii Pacific University doesn't come close. UH Manoa is closer, but neither of them have the breathtaking views that you can get at Chaminade because Chaminade is on the mountainside. And I forgot to mention one more thing about my boy Tom. Tom is pretty much responsible for me making these vlogs because Tom and I had a shared passion around videography, and so I majored in the same major as Tom because that's what he was studying. And when I went to college, I came undecided, not knowing what I wanted to do. But I've always loved movies and storytelling, and so when Tom told me that he was going to be studying video production and photography and classes like that, I just ended up picking the same major as him, and we had all the same classes throughout school. Which was great because I wanted to learn how to edit videos, and I wanted to make videos because I was inspired to make YouTube videos because of people like Casey Neistat, Fun for Louie, the Juke Squad, Ben Gravy, and tons of other YouTubers who were really popular in the 2010s. But I never got around to actually making videos when I was in college because we were focused on classes, and I could come up with a million excuses why we didn't do it. But the main reason was probably because if you don't do something, then you can't fail at it. So the fear of failure stopped me from actually making videos while I was in college. But 6 months ago, I made my first YouTube video. We just hit 100 subscribers here on YouTube, so thank you to everybody who's subscribed. I really appreciate it. So even though that's not really a monumental accomplishment here on YouTube, it's still a step in the right direction. And my college self would be really proud of me today for making these videos. Even if I never acquire the success of some of those other YouTubers that I mentioned before, I'll still be proud that I made these just because I finally got around to actually doing it. Now at this point in the journey, we were cruising down Kapahulu, going into town, retracing our route that we would take from campus to the beach back in college, because in 2014, I didn't have a car or a moped yet, and I just had my penny board. So I used to take my 6'11" shortboard that I got from the Diamond Head Surf Shop under my arm on my penny board and skate down Kapahulu to the beach, and then stash my board in a banyan tree or some bushes or under the sand somewhere and go surfing at Queens or Canoes, Pops, Publix. If I felt up to it, I'd skate down to Ala Moana Bowls or rock piles. And if I felt really up to it, I would just cruise around the backside of Diamond Head through the Kaimuki area past like KCC and go surfing over at Diamond Head, which Diamond Head is probably my favorite surf break on the south shore of Oʻahu. If I had to pick like one place that I could surf over and over again, it'd probably be Diamond Head. And earlier in this video, I showed you the original Big Wave Dave's location where Adrian and I worked in college. And this is it right here. This new building that's being built along Koa Avenue is the old location of the Big Wave Dave's where we worked, which unfortunately is no longer here. And it's kind of sad because I got a lot of great memories of working there, especially around closing time in the evening. Koa Avenue just had this really cozy vibe that I can't really describe, but it was always just really fun around closing time, watching the city of Honolulu wake up for the night as you're getting ready to close up shop and go home. But before we leave Koa Avenue and head over to Diamond Head, I gotta share one of the funniest stories from when I worked there. I had a coworker named Pono, shout out Pono, and he had a Sector 9 Bob Marley skateboard with the red, yellow, and green light-up wheels. That skateboard got stolen by a homeless guy, and Pono saw it and stole it back. This homeless guy proceeded to come to the shop looking for Pono with a metal baseball bat. And when he found Pono, swung at him, and Pono ate that on his forearm and then grabbed it and threw it aside and pushed the guy, and he fell backwards and tripped over his bicycle, and then HPD showed up and got him. It was a very impressive moment to say the least, because this homeless guy had to be at least 6'4", maybe 6'5". I don't know how tall Pono is, but he's not that tall, and so I was afraid that Pono was about to have his head smashed in, and he managed to disarm the guy and stand his ground and get him to fall over his bicycle, and then immediately the cops showed up. It was just, in that moment, Pono had a lot of aura. As the kids would say today, a lot of aura for sure. Now, after all of that busyness in town, catching up with college friends and going around our campus, we had to head back over to the east side to Waimanalo, where Allie and Adrian lived, because They were in the process of moving from Oʻahu to the big island of Hawaii, and there was a little bit of a sending off, going away party on the property that we had to get back for. So the plan was head back over to the east side, relax for a nice chill evening, and the next day, Adrian and I would try to catch some waves before I had to hop on a plane back to the mainland. Now, depending on the time of year, you can sometimes see some whales breaching off in the distance in this little area in between Maui and Oʻahu. Unfortunately, today, couldn't see any whales, and the visibility wasn't so great, so you couldn't see Maui off in the distance. But here we are pulling up on Sandy Beach Park. Gotta love Sandy's. Speaking of Sandy's, my freshman year there was a girl named Alice, and first week of school, she went to Sandy's and was in about knee-deep water, and a wave came in and hit her, snapped her shin bone, and she was in a cast on crutches the rest of that semester. And here we are driving past Makapu'u Beach Park, and I'm going to say it right here and right now, Makapu'u Beach Park is my favorite beach on the island of Oʻahu. But before we move on, back to Sandy's, because I've got one more story about Sandy's. That board that I showed you earlier that I got from the Diamond Head Surf Shop, I took to Sandy Beach Park right after I got it, and I did not have any business surfing to the left of where the boogie boarders boogie board. But there were some surfers out there surfing, and there was this uncle on the beach waxing up his board near me, and I went over and talked to him, and I said, "Hey, I've surfed before on the East Coast and the Outer Banks. I've never surfed in Hawaii. Is this a chill spot to paddle out?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, bro, this is super chill. You just follow me out and you'll have a super mellow time." So I was like, "Oh, cool. I'll just follow him out." So I followed him out into the lineup, and that was a bad decision. I had no business being there. Total kook move. I didn't have enough wax on top of my board to begin with, so I was slipping and sliding all over the place. And this other uncle saw me struggling and immediately paddled over to me and was like, "Hey, brah, you have no business out here. You're gonna get yourself or someone else hurt. Paddle in right now." I was like, "Say less. I'm out of here." I caught the next wave in like a boogie board, but my knees and shins were dragging behind me. Got all ripped up on the reef, and I came in bleeding everywhere. And I was like, "Yep, that was a total kook move. Biggest kook moment of my life." Great success getting the car gone. Loop-de-loop. Some B-roll of the little prop. Here we are doing some chores in preparation for the Yo Garden festivities that were to take place later on. This is such a beautiful spot. Just look at those mountains and how the clouds touch the tops. Exquisite. Oink, oink. I had never touched a pig before, and I was very surprised at how thick and coarse their hair is. My goodness, it's like straw. That'll do, pig. That'll do. And then we had the events of that evening where Allie sold her produce at the Yo Garden festivities. These were the musicians that are popular musicians in Hawaii that played at the venue. This was the crowd. Overall, beautiful music, beautiful evening. And now we're gonna jump to the next morning as Adrian and I scouted out the spots on the east side, trying to find the best place to go surfing.
That doesn't look too bad right there.
Now, the reason that we checked Waimanalo is because I've always been drawn to novelty waves. Now, Waimanalo is not really a beach where you would surf or you'd see people surfing. However, I surfed there a lot in college just because it was fun to get away from the crowds and not worry about people dropping in on you and not having to worry about a long paddle out or anything. It was just fun to go and mess around in the shore break. So that's why we went and checked it. Nobody else really would.
I'll take whichever one you don't want. Well, you're bored, so I'd say you get priority.
I like this board.
I'll take the blue one. The balloons. Balloons. What's the claim?
Claim is we're gonna catch some fun ones. Oh, yeah.
You know it. Great success. Beautiful day. Perfect weather. Oh yeah.
And then we decided to go check out Sandy's and see what was going on over there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Enough of that. I am wiped. But those fins don't really fit, so they've been crushing my toes. But it's still fun. Adrian's still out there in the shore break. Oh yeah. Right now we have like a concert get-together type of situation here on the farm where my friends live, and so I'm gonna take you guys down to the event area and just kind of show you around what it looks like when they're selling produce and other stuff that's made here on the farm, just kind of give you guys a look of what it all looks like. So let's go.
Now, for those of you who have been paying attention, you might say, Jack, this continuity is all messed up. I thought that the music event at the farm was the night before you went surfing, so let me explain here in a second.
It's kombucha, by the way. Mango kombucha, I think. It's rather good.
See, my footage is stored by the date that it was recorded, and so somehow the footage from this date wound up getting pushed back, and so I thought I lost it, and now I just found it. So here is yesterday's footage of the monthly get-together with live music where they sell their produce that they grow here at Yo Garden.
Hello. And there you have it. So later there will be music played. We're not playing music yet, and yeah, that's what it looks like. Pretty cool setup. Beautiful spot here in Waimanalo. So this is what it looks like over here.
I brought a bunch of cool stickers if anybody wants one for free. They're beautiful vinyl.
Dude, I literally just latched it and put him back in there, and Alma's just sitting there chewing on a bone. I don't know how this dog keeps getting out. You want me to take him back up there?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
If you're down to handle more dog stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're back on track, and now it is my last day here on Oʻahu. We started the day off by catching some waves over at Waimanalo before taking me into town to grab a bite, say aloha to Tom, and hop on the plane. Like I said before, Waimanalo's not really a surfing beach, it's more of a novelty wave, so this was just for old time's sake, a little throwback to messing around in the Waimanalo shore break before heading to the airport. And with that, we wrap up our trip to Big Island and Oahu. Shout out to Allie, Adrian, Tom, Eric, and everybody that made this trip unforgettable. I love you all, and aloha. Until next time.